Welcome war hands. Today we're going to be covering a few variations of the hook. Now in this video I'm going to be talking about predominantly the lead hook. This can be also transferred over to the rear hook, but the lead hook has a few more versatilities in the way it can be thrown. I'm not going to be talking about different targets. I'm going to be talking about the structure of the hand itself when the hook is thrown, and just kind of describe the differences and leave it up to you to kind of pick the way that works for you best. Doesn't have to be any one. You can honestly throw all of these types of hooks, and they all have their different uses and benefits. So the first one I'm going to be talking about is going to be the vertical hook. So my hand is completely sideways. You'll see here in just a sec. My hand is completely sideways. I'm hitting with the bottom three knuckles of my hand. So middle finger, ring finger, and pinky finger knuckles. You can also hit with just the front two knuckles. Really just kind of comes down to preference. Me, I'm explaining the bottom three knuckles because that's what I predominantly use. This one is just as fast when throwing, and I feel like it's a little bit more structurally sound when you're hitting your target. The second hook that we're going to be talking about is the horizontal hook. As you can see there, my hand is completely horizontal, and I'm hitting with the bottom three knuckles. But you risk breaking the pinky finger, called a boxer's fracture, so you need to be careful when using this type of hook. Although it is fast and has a lot of torque, it can be dangerous to yourself. And this one's just a variation of the vertical hook. It's a diagonal hook. They kind of go hand in hand together. There isn't really much difference. I feel like it's a good in between of vertical and horizontal, and is structurally sound and gives you a lot of speed and torque when throwing it. I use this one quite a bit. And then the last one is the wristwatch hook. So I'm turning my hand completely over. You see there, like I'm looking at my wristwatch. This one has an insane amount of torque, and is very good for infighting. When you're infighting, dirty boxing with an opponent, coming up with this very leveraged type of hook. And this has a lot of speed too, but it's a little hard on the knuckles when you're hitting. And here I'm just showing some basic footwork. So right here I'm throwing jab, cross, hook, or cross hook, and just showing the weight distribution between my feet and the pivoting of my feet when I'm throwing the punches. So this is the lower end. You need to get your hips into your hook anytime you're throwing them. You can't have flat-footedness. You'll see here on the bag, I'm using the bag for some feedback, so I'm going to go through the different variations. I left out the diagonal hook just because the vertical hook and the diagonal hook kind of go hand in hand. Like I said, you can't really tell the difference that much on the bag when looking at it, but you can feel it when throwing. There, the vertical hook has a lot of torque on it, good pop. It's probably one of the most used punches in boxing. You'll see the most knockouts with the hook punch. And showing the horizontal hook. Again, a lot of speed, good torque on this one, but I feel it a lot in my shoulder and in my pinky side when hitting with this one. So you got to be careful how you hit, because even just hitting on the bag, I can kind of feel it in the weak spot. That pinky knuckle is the weaker part of the hand. All right, and lastly is the wristwatch hook. You see this one works very well when I'm infighting on the bag, as if I'm dirty boxing an opponent. When you're working in the clinch, this is a great hook to come up and over the top with. So if you pop with a rear uppercut, pops that chin up, and you can come across with this hook and get a lot of torque out of it. Now the only thing that I noticed was that I felt a lot of kind of pressure in my shoulder with this one, so you got to be careful how you hit. You don't want to damage your shoulder too much, so be careful when repping this one out. But when you get the technique right, it's a very good hook. I really like this one a lot. All these hooks can be used interchangeably, so you don't have to restrict yourself to one. Just weigh the cost and benefit of each. Alright, and that's going to be it today, guys. Thank you for joining this technique of the week. Tune in again.